Yeah, so this is a new thing we're doing, recent releases, and first up on the chopping block,
It's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
we just went to watch it and said, you know what, this sounds like a ridiculous idea. Let's see how they do it. And they pull it off amazingly!
It was really good. The cinematography and the music, it all went together. There was plenty of action for those that enjoy the zombie movies, but there was also still the purity of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the old time English, and all of the everything. It was great.
Yeah, they. The beginning of the movie is kind of what sells you on it. They have Mr. Darcy coming to call, and he's trying to find a zombie. I hear somebody has been bitten around here.
And to cut back on all the gore and blood that would scare off most female movie watchers, they do a first person beheading instead, where you get to see Mr. Darcy break a glass cup on the edge of a table and just totally behead the zombie. It was actually done very, very well.
Yeah, the cinematography is quite cool in that sequence, and it's done with the least amount of blood and violence on camera.
Which they managed to do throughout the movie. There was still plenty of action, still plenty of cutting off limbs and everything, but when it came to the most gruesome of possibilities, they cut it back just enough to keep it PG-13 and appropriate for quite a few audiences.
Yeah. I think what I was most impressed with, though, is the balance of the classic Jane Austen romance novel with some of the more action-heavy stuff of a zombie movie. There's such a great balance in here, and I think that's one of the things that makes me want to recommend it, because it's a really ridiculous product. It's a really silly kind of idea, but they do it so well that you just fall in love with this version.
And it was amazing because they would have, normal talking scenes. You'd have the old English and a couple of jokes that you're kind of like, ha, ha, ha. And then all of a sudden they just go fight zombies. And you'd be like, it works. Transition works and you're excited. And then the zombie ends and then you go back to talking. And you're like, I'm still in love with the movie. I'm still sitting here and I'm still enjoying it. And I think one of my favorite parts was when Darcy goes to propose to Lizzie.
Spoiler alert! Wait, we've all seen Pride and Prejudice before.
Yes, we have. And so when he goes to propose, you're sitting there going, okay, we're waiting for the entire monologue. This is going to be great. Yeah. And instead they do an entire fight scene. They fight while they argue, and they use things from the fireplace. She throws books around the room. They just use whatever's at hand. It looks almost like you could just, have it happen normally, not like it's choreographed or anything.
Yeah, the naturalism of that fight scene is pretty spectacular.
I think overall the acting though didn't seem forced.
No.
For the most part, there were a couple of places where I wish that they would speak up just a little bit, or their voice didn't quite fit in that moment. But overall, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was certainly worth it, partly for the actors who are just putting their all into these characters. It's obvious that they have a great love of these characters, and they show that through how much dedication they give to it, even though these are slightly different versions. It's great because at the beginning there's a sequence for the titles with all these little political cartoons that fit the time period, and a monologue guy just tells you about this alternate version of history where during the 1700s, zombie plague struck London. We blame the French.
As usual. And also when it comes to the actors, 9 out of 10 of the side characters didn't feel disposable. They felt like they were actually part of the cast. They were there, they had a purpose, they were going to execute it, and they were going to stay. Even, you didn't know if they were going to die or not, but they were there to stay.
Yeah. And even though a lot of the zombie kills are disposable, they still give a name to pretty much every zombie.
True.
Miss Pembrose, who sells lantern oil.
Oh, Miss What's Her Name that attacks during the first scene and gets her head blown off.
Fernbottom. That's not it. Her name is not Miss Fernbottom.
I'm sure someone is going to comment on this video and kindly tell us what it is.
I'm sure. But yeah, the reaction that Elizabeth gives to her and the way she waits to try and reason with her before she dies. It made the zombie outbreak feel a lot more personal, a lot more emotional, like you would expect from Jane Austen's work, where emotion and interpersonal interactions and society, high society, balancing your manners. There was still a lot of that in there in all of the subtext and in a lot of the bold text.
Though the way her head blew off was a little plain, I will say. And those poor old ladies behind us.
The two ladies behind us just...
Their head blew up and they're like, "Oh! Happy Mother's Day, Mom!"
Yeah, she thought she'd take her mother to see Pride and Prejudice for Mother's Day. She was terribly mistaken.
I don't know what part of the zombies hitting, flash warning signs.
Well, she couldn't take her mother to see Deadpool, now could she?
And I'm pretty sure she probably would have fallen asleep during Kung Fu Panda 3. So I guess I left Pride and Prejudice. Oh dear. So I think that overall, we definitely give this movie a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Personally, sorry. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Personally, for me, I give it a 9 out of 10 because I really enjoyed this movie. It's something that I definitely would rewatch and definitely something that I will get on DVD as soon as it comes out and is a reasonable price.
Yeah. I would give it a recommendation for just one thing. Matt Smith as Parson Collins. It is the greatest casting of Collins I've ever seen. I would recommend it just for that. And I would recommend it just as a good Pride and Prejudice adaptation, although with the caveat that it has zombies, and even though the kills aren't too bloody or gory, it's still a PG-13 film. There's still stuff with a bag of bloody brains and zombies attacking people and biting people, so don't take your kids to see zombies killing people.
It is PG-13 for a reason, but at the same time, I feel that it is an appropriate PG-13. It's not something where you go and you listen to the F-bomb dropped a couple of times and you watch as inappropriate things happen. It's rated PG-13 for the little bit of gorium violence that comes naturally with zombies.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it because despite the fact that the idea is a silly one, that there's so many things that could go wrong with it, the fact that these are two things that shouldn't go together, the dedication they have to it, the genuineness, how much effort they put into it, just makes it a treat to watch.
And there is something for everyone. There is zombie fighting for the boys. There is the romance story for the girls. There are modern day laughter that will bring everyone laughing. There's a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, and there's even a couple of twists and turns to make it different from normal Pride and Prejudice. So even if you know Pride and Prejudice, there's still something to be enjoyed here.
Yeah, I haven't read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, so I don't know how well it goes towards that book, but based off of Pride and Prejudice itself, the original, it seems to do really well.
Yeah, the characters still feel on point, even though they're a different version of these characters that learned how to fight in order to keep themselves safe from zombie attacks. And all of the side characters do a great job of making this feel like a very Victorian world with a bit of a zombie problem.
Like the giant iron gates that are just twisted wheels with spikes on it that just devour any zombies that care to walk up.
Yeah, it's a very well-made movie. I would highly recommend it. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure what we're going to see next week. Hopefully there will be other people from the crew to see it as well, but still, if you want zombies in your Pride and Prejudice or Pride and Prejudice in your zombie movie, this is a really good adaptation of it.
Or if you have another modern day movie that you want us to maybe review or give our personal real quick critique on, feel free to send us a message or to just comment on this video.
Yeah, lovely to see you guys. Have a happy Saturday.
And have a happy Mother's Day. Please don't forget to call your moms.
Yeah, and then tell her to watch Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and see how fast you get a reaction from her.
Maybe wait till next weekend.
Wait till next week.
Okay, Practice Team signing out. Bye, guys.
All right, see ya.
That was not the